Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and I went and checked the old P.O. box the other day, and we have got a ton of stuff to check out that came from you guys. So I guess we'll go in order of how I received the things, and then maybe I can set the stuff aside so it doesn't fall. This one I already started using the stuff. I couldn't wait. But there's a letter in here. This is from, I'll read it to you. It says, "Hello, Ross. I'm enjoying the videos you continuously produce, especially your sense of humor. I'm hoping you have a great holiday season and keep content coming. I was shopping the other day and I picked up a few items and thought you could use some as well." First thing is these Klein screw starters, which I talked about when I was doing that carburetor video, trying to put those screws back in the little butterflies. This would have made it definitely a lot easier, and so we'll break those out at some point and try that. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I've used them before, different things before like this. These are a little bit differently made, and I think they're going to work great. So that's pretty sweet. Screw starters. Croil penetrating oil, which I've had very good results with. I couldn't wait, so I tried it out on that combine I've been working on. And lastly, a set of the seat bracket back springs. These are on like the 50 or 55 series. They hold that upper backrest. So you had a set of those. So that's pretty sweet. And these are from Viewer Farron. Viewer Farron sent those. So thank you, because definitely this stuff will come in handy. I've already been using the Croil. So alright, so thank you again, Farron. That's super handy. Next thing actually came to my home address because it was sent to me by my friend who lives in Indianapolis area, and he sent me a message and he said, "What's your address? I got something I'm going to send you." So I told him, and this is from viewer Tim. And if you don't know Tim, his dad and grandpa were the Oliver dealers in Indianapolis, and he sent me this. And if you don't know what this is the thing that goes on the bottom of the hose for suction out of the Oliver sprayer, like I bought, and I'm fixing up, you know. So anyway, that is super cool, because I never would have thought that I'd find that, you know. Some guys who I've messaged and they have a sprayer, they pulled it out and said it's just hose on the end. They don't even have this piece. So that's pretty sweet. And yeah, it says on it Spraying Systems Company, and then a patent pending, and then it says suction strainer. So that makes sense though, because I figured there had to be something on the end that was heavy enough to help hold it down, you know, and then also be like a screen of some kind. So anyway, that's pretty sweet. Thank you, Tim. Like I said, I didn't think I would ever find one of those, but there we are. So when we tackle that sprayer project, we'll be one step closer to authentic. Alright, somewhere in here I have letters. Let's start with this one. This is a letter from viewer Skip, and he says, "I totally love your videos, especially the two videos where you spill the beans on how Oliver ends up with the state-of-the-art combine, and an agreement with Fiat handling their line of tractors. I do know some history on Cockshut. They never had their own line of tractors until 1946, because previously they first used Alice Chalmers and Oliver tractors to demonstrate their line of farm equipment. And it was Cockshut in 1946 to have live power takeoff, and the first company to offer draft control on your foot pedals in combines. The engineers for Cockshut were 10 years ahead of everyone else. In 1959, the new president of Cockshut, Mr. Beechhold, and he has a nickname for him in parentheses I won't read, made an agreement to handle the Fiat small tractor line. In 1961, the White Corporation pulled a fast one, though, through the stock market, and a hostile takeover was done on Cockshut, and all manufacturing was stopped December 1961. Yes, I heard before, and kind of alluded to it in there, that the Cockshut takeover was not well received. They weren't welcoming White with open arms. So he says, why? Question mark. The White Corporation had just bought 3 years earlier the Oliver Farm Equipment Corporation, and they knew they needed a state-of-the-art combine in order to be viable in the agricultural arena. Remember, White never had a farm agriculture line of their own until they bought Oliver Farm Equipment. So it was ripe for the pickings to steal a corporation who is rated number 8 in the world for farm equipment. Again, I really enjoy your videos. Just want to let you know I do not have a farm, but I have two Cockshuts 30s, a 40 and a 50 diesel. My uncle sold Oliver's Cockshuts and eventually White until he retired in 1987. Thanks for getting the info out. Skip from Western PA. So thank you, Skip, for telling more of the story. And yes, the deal with White buying all those 3 companies maybe wasn't the popular thing at the time, but when you look back on it now, there's a lot of things that we have that we wouldn't have had if that didn't take place. So think of it what you will. It could be good or bad, but that's the way it is. Next one is a Christmas card from viewer Anson, and it's got all kinds of stuff in here I'll show in a minute. It says, Ross, I enjoy your videos. You make me laugh. It is like I'm filming myself. As a 4th generation Oliver farmer and collector, I appreciate the knowledge you share. I am desperately trying to save the farm, and you give me the motivation needed. Keep up the great work. Merry Christmas, Anson. And he sent along some magnets, which I will put on my refrigerator with my collection of magnets from friends. That's pretty neat. I think that one's actually a sticker. And then he sent some he sent some beer level gauge stickers there, and it's on E, so we're gonna have to do something about that after a while, I think. So thank you, Anson, for the card and the little stuff in there. That's pretty neat. All right, next one. This came in an Amazon envelope. However, there is no name. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. I didn't see this the other day when I opened it. Yeah, usually they put a little thing in there that tells you it's from. It says, a gift for you. Thanks for all the entertaining and educational videos. I thought you might need this tool for fishing valve stems into the rims with all the tires you've been doing lately. Have a Merry Christmas from viewer Jamie. And it's a little valve stem fishing tool. That's pretty neat. You thread it on there and it's got an end of flexible cable, and then you can pull it through to fish valve stems through. So that's pretty neat. I've never had one of those. I'm going to definitely give that a shot because I could see how that would make it easier, you know. So that's pretty sweet. Thank you, viewer Jamie. All right. The last thing we have here in our adventure is a letter, and it says, thank you for all your information regarding Oliver tractors while adding some humor in the meantime. I have only been an Oliver owner for a year, and I have learned more than I could hope for from your content. To show my appreciation, I have included some correct color-coded wire for Fiat-made Olivers. That's cool. Let's take a look at this. Yes, these wire bundles here, we have green with black stripe, gray with red stripe, black with black, or gray with black stripe, yellow with black stripe, blue with black stripe. That's neat. That's the colors just like on the Fiat. I am currently redoing some wiring on my Minneapolis Moline G450, which is the same as a little Fiat Oliver. And I thought it would come in handy for your Fiat addiction. Thank you and Merry Christmas. Viewer Carson. So that is so cool because, yeah, I mean, how often do you actually have the right kind of wire on hand? So that's pretty sweet. I'm going to put this in the truck and have it set aside for when I work on the Fiat. So that's pretty neat. I suppose we'll round it up with a few emails. I can't remember exactly where we left off in the last viewer mail video with the emails, but we'll pick out a few. Viewer Jamie sent me an email about how he had some John Deere cultivators. It's also the same viewer Jamie who sent that tool there a second ago. He was wondering if I needed any parts because I said something about John Deere cultivators. The thing that I had needed for that bee was that little bullet thing that bolts to the frame, and I ended up finding one, but I think it's off an earlier tractor. It's not quite identical, but I think it'll work. So I got that rigged up, so maybe this summer I'll tackle trying to put those cultivators on the tractor. But I got to get the thing to quit leaking out of the carburetor again, so I guess we'll pull that off one day this winter and figure that out. Let's see here. I got a bunch of emails from viewer Gary. He sends me all the time. He's got a YouTube channel. I've shared that before, and he's always got something interesting to say. I could spend hours just reading the stories on him. Let's see here. Somebody sent me, oh, I know, somebody sent me, a viewer Jim sent me an email about how back when I was working on that combine grain pan, I kind of remember that too, that used to available was corrugated or like stepped metal where you could like patch in a grain pan, and I can't seem to find any of that now. So if anybody out there knows like where the source is where you can buy a piece of that metal, I would like to know, because I got a lot of combines here that patching a hole in it is a lot more economical than spending $2,000 and buying a whole nother one. So it would be nice to know if that metal still exists and I could get that. Let's see here. Somebody asked if I was going to be attending any shows in 2024. I can't guarantee what's going to happen. I never know what my schedule's going to be, and I can't really get away from here very often, so I don't hold your breath on that, I guess is what I'm saying. I'd like to, but anyway, that's just the way it is. Viewer John, the Fiat guy who I've mentioned in videos before, he sent me an interesting email, and he sent a picture along of a Kubota M4500, and he said, here is another twist to the Fiat story. The M4500 Kubota was a 1365 size tractor with a 6-cylinder Kubota engine in a Fiat body. I only ever saw one, and it is another story. One of my first dealer calls with my New Holland service representative job was to look at a year-old 472 Haybine that had cracked the sheet metal of all the shields in other areas. There didn't seem to be any reason for it, and of course the customer was upset when I asked about the possibility of overspeeding the PTO. Dealership repaired it, and New Holland paid the bill. However, I went with the dealer to deliver the unit and see it in action. The 472 was hooked to this M4500, and we went to the field. When he started the PTO, that 472 was screaming. We stopped him immediately, and I got my tachometer from the car and checked the PTO speed. It was turning at 750 RPM. I found this tractor had a multi-speed PTO. There was a PTO shifter in the rear of the tractor, and it was set in high. That little Haybine was shaking itself apart with the overspeed. Problem solved. So that's pretty neat. That's one of those things that, unless you were there, you wouldn't know about that issue probably, or that had happened. So that's pretty neat. Another story. And somebody else was telling me about those Fiats that you could actually buy, or some companies bought the back half, like the back, and I think they called it like the T or something, I don't know, but basically the transmission rear end and the two axles, and then they would couple it with their engine or whatever. And so I guess that's probably what Kubota did in that regard. The M4500, I was thinking that I worked on one of those at one time, but I don't remember. So anyway, interesting. Some of these I don't think I have actually read yet. I need to go back and look, because I don't remember seeing some of these, so I'll have to get some time and sit down and take this all in. Sometimes so many messages come in that it kind of puts my brain on lockdown, and I can't comprehend what I'm looking at, so it takes several tries. Here's an email from viewer James, who says, I saw your latest video on the old combine, how you rode in it with your grandpa when you were young, and it reminded me that I saved my grandpa's old farm truck that we had it at a show this year. Here's a picture of it at the threshing show with my brother's Massey Harris, so that's pretty neat. I've got our old farm pickup too. I want to fix that up sometime. It's pretty rough, but I rode in it many, many times as well, so I get the whole idea of that, memories and that type of thing. So anyway, yeah, there's messages coming in every day, and I'm trying to get it done, but I'm really doing poorly answering like even the comments on the videos. I'll get maybe a dozen or so done, and then it just gets, I'm so far behind. I bet there's 10,000 comments more that I haven't done, so I don't know. I'm trying. I'll catch up to it eventually maybe. So anyway, I guess we'll call this video here. Again, thank you for the stuff. I never expect it, and it's always a surprise to see that people will actually send something. So anyway, I guess, like I said, we'll call that video here. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in the next one.